Welcome to the Siblings Movie Reviews Podcast. I am your host, Rashad. Joining me as always is my sister, Richauna.
Hello.
And my wife, Mika.
Hey, hey.
Today, we are reviewing Renaissance, a film by Beyonce. It's currently in theaters. This is going to be a full review. This is written, directed, and starring Beyonce. She also has some live performance directors who are James B. Merryman and Mark Ritchie. So let's get into it. I thought this was a solid movie. In the beginning, I thought it was very melancholy. Like the music was a little bit slow paced. Like it didn't have a lot of energy. I will say I do enjoy Beyonce's music. I haven't listened to the latest Renaissance album, but a lot of the songs in the beginning I wasn't feeling. For me, the best part of the movie is when Blue Ivy showed up. I really enjoyed, how they focused on her growth and her story and some of the controversy she dealt with. I loved her energy. I loved her determination. I love how she just stood up there in the face of all her haters. And even in the shadow of her megastar parents, got up on that stage and did her thing. I really appreciated that about the movie. Again, I do enjoy Beyonce's music. I've listened to a lot of her earlier stuff. I hadn't listened to none of her recent stuff. But
So you don't recognize any of the Renaissance songs?
yeah, I mean, only the ones that I've heard briefly on the radios,
Okay.
but a lot of that other music, again, for me, I really wasn't into it in the beginning. It did get better at the end. It seems like after Blue was on the stage, it seemed like it had a lot more energy, a lot more heart, like the storytelling got better. Even because this wasn't a straight concert, it was more like a behind the scenes documentary. And I kind of appreciated about, that versus, what we saw with Taylor, which I enjoyed Taylor, but, I kind of appreciated that we kind of got to see behind the scenes of how Beyonce created this show. So, again, I thought it was a solid movie overall. So, Mika.
Well, for me, definitely enjoyed it. Let me just show this picture here for the camera for all of you lovely people. They handed these photos out of Beyonce when we entered the theater and all of that. So I thought it was a very, very good movie and production.
Yes.
A little bit about kind of what I've kind of read in regards to this film, that her goal and purpose of the tour was to create a place where everyone is free. I read specifically a sanctuary of freedom and more, for more than 2.7 million fans. This tour opened up in Stockholm, Sweden, and her finale in our beloved Kansas City, Missouri.
Yes.
And so it was Beyonce's intention and, just to be intentional in her hard work, involvement in every aspect of the production, creativity, her legacy, and mastering her craft. I enjoyed, one thing I love about artists, because, for me, I'm an artist too, I'm a singer and all that jazz. But one thing I love is the creativity of everything and putting your heart and your soul into it. Taylor Swift did the same thing, and showing all the different shades, and we get to see the different aspects of who she was as an artist, and we get to see the same thing with Beyonce. She's so colorful, and she's just being herself, and being able to see all the different shades of people on her stage, the different nationalities, the different shapes and sizes, just how everybody is just different, and just everybody brings something. Again, it was all trying to bring an atmosphere of people just feeling free to everything. We know her as Bey, the Beehive, Beyonce, Queen Bee, all the things. She started out singing as a 7-year-old little girl, so I can definitely resonate with that, starting out singing as a little kid, what I'm saying? So just seeing how she's grown. I think one of the things that stood out to me a lot about this film was her going behind the scenes. That really, really meant, really resonated with me, ministered to me, as I would say, just because I love the fact that, an artist, all of us, I guess, for lack of better words, us regular folk who are out here watching the entertainment, you don't always know what's going on behind the scenes, but it takes a team of people to make the glitz and the glam be what the production actually is. I mean, for her to show the people who's putting all the hard work and putting the stages together, putting those outfits for those crew members to show what they are doing behind the scenes, showing her involvement of how she wants the lights to be this and be that, and the colors and all the different things that it goes into making this production be what it is. Because you're coming to see Beyonce, but you're coming to see this whole team of people who have put this together. And for the fact that she was willing to let that light shine on her people, to give people that, to let them know that
to let us
it wasn't just about me, but I want you to see what's really going on. And that, for me, if I was a worker, if I was a team member, my God, I would feel wonderful to know that she even thought of enough to put us in her film to show what we are doing behind the scenes, because the little man don't always get the credit.
Yeah, not a lot at all.
Another thing that stood out to me was, she had a dancer on there who she saw on YouTube, and the girl was dancing and just doing her regular thing, and her wig came off, but she kept on making it do what it do, baby, and she hired her the next day to be on her team
because she saw herself in her.
Exactly. So it's like, you find greatness in people, the little people who think, they're not doing a whole lot, but they're just trying to live out their dream and put themselves on TV that maybe one day somebody may see. And for this particular young lady, it happened to be Beyonce who hired her, who hired her on the spot. So, I mean, so just the different things that we see, one thing that I also liked about, as my husband mentioned, about Blue Ivy, over the course of time for this concert that's been taking place, I've heard a lot of different chatter when it comes to Miss Blue Ivy, you know what I'm saying? But I can see that little girl, even in myself of, trying to get my craft together and my vocals and all the things that I do, you know what I'm saying? It's like, she's only 11 years old, but I see her making it do what it do. I see her becoming a young woman. Her mama started out at 7 years old, you know what I'm saying? So I know her mama wanted to protect her, but, Beyonce displayed that, Blue Ivy felt like she was ready to go, and they let her do one show, and then it turned into be this whole big thing where she's on this tour, trying to make it do what it do and make a light shine for herself, where she's putting herself out there, and she's not going to stop with all the negativity and all the criticism. So, I love to see Beyonce showing that she's a mother, that her children come first. Yeah. She's a wife. I love seeing her, that she talked about her mom and her dad. God rest both of my parents, so because they're both gone, I would love to be able to share so many moments with them now that they're not here. But it's always good to be able to give mama and daddy, I know everybody's situation is different, but if you have a mother and father that you can, share love to them and give them flowers while they're there, to see her embrace her mom, to see her embrace her dad. And, there was one of her songs that they were playing, and they would put the camera on the mom and put the camera on the dad, and them parts where she's kind of talking about each of them, and them being able to hear that, and you kind of see them kind of just jamming with the song as it's going. I mean, I was just loving all of that. So, I mean, for me, overall, I thought this film was very good. It was very creative. It was a lot of production, and like my husband mentioned before about, the whole Taylor Swift thing, the difference between that one, it was really all about the music, but this one was more like a movie because it was bringing it home. We were kind of getting to see the real Beyonce and what her life entails and what she has going on and all the things. So I just thought it was beautiful, and it was a good show. So
okay, Shauna, go to you to hit some of the key story points.
Well, personally, I know that a lot of YouTubers that review and are going to be covering this film, some of them will probably make the comparison between the two female artists that dominated in 2023. I'm not going to do that. I am thankful for Taylor Swift. I am thankful for her presentation. But this is all about Beyonce, baby. This is all about B and her beehive and her love for art and her way of interpreting and displaying to us her appreciation for artistic expression. And so because of that and my understanding of her artistry, I'm really just going to speak from that position throughout this entire film. It opened up with the song Dangerously in Love. And I thought,
one of my favorites.
my goodness, this is a power move, because I easily would have thought that this would have been the closer, but she chose this for a reason. Beyonce is very methodical. She's very intentional. She's very detailed. And the fact that she started the movie with Dangerously in Love just spoke volumes to me. And the arrangement of Dangerously in Love. She slowed it down. She allowed the instrumentals to be brought up. If you guys know anything about musicality and artistry with that, you notice that in certain concerts and in certain artists delivering their message, they will amp up certain levels of their music, certain things, certain parts of their the instruments, so that you get the feeling of what they're trying to convey to you.
Yeah.
And the fact that she did that, I'm in my chair. Like I did a lot of pre-work for this, but I did not know what to expect coming in. And so when Dangerously of Love comes on, I feel the goosebumps. I feel my eyes welling up with tears. And I'm grateful. Even before she says that she's grateful, she tells us, that she is in her gratitude era, and that she begins to thank the people in her life. She goes through the story of, with her and Jay-Z, which was notoriously reported, of their issues, and the reason for Lemonade, which is where, for me, Lemonade is a major turning point in Beyonce's musicography, her musical story, her musical journey, because she talks about taking lemons and turning the lemons of her situation that she was dealing with her husband, and infidelity and challenges in their marriage. And she chooses, based on a proverb or a practice that her grandmother showed her, how to make the lemonade, the choice of the lemons and the sugar. I listened to Lemonade over and over and over, because I was in a similar position when this album came out. I was going through something that I was at a crossroads, and I needed to decide which way I was going to turn. And when she gets to the part of the song that says she's going to heal and she's going to start again, everything changes. And that's what happened for me. I decided that I was going to heal, and that no matter what, I was going to go on a healing journey. I was going to reverse. I was going to correct things that needed to be corrected and reversed in me. So this experience for me was very therapeutic, which I did not expect. I thought I was going to come into an entertainment setting and I was going to be, moving and grooving, and I was. But it was very cathartic. It was very emotional. I was fighting back tears, and then there were certain parts in the display where there were tears coming down my eyes. And I went back to the Lemonade experience and what that experience was for me. I remember being at work playing Lemonade from top to bottom, over and over, the journey of those songs, the healing process that Beyonce gave us in that album. And then I followed her with Coachella, and then I went to On the Run, and then I watched the presentation of Homecoming on Netflix, and I have just been enamored with Beyonce and this healing process. And so for me, Renaissance is just a continuation. Even though many of the critics and many of the reviewers are going to say it's about Renaissance standalone, for me, it is about a continuation of art bringing about healing. And I appreciate Beyonce so much for that, because she uses every piece of her presentation to display to us her healing process. And so I could go on and on, but I really want to point out some of the things that were healing for me. So again, in the beginning, when she's talking about the gratitude, the healing part of the journey that Blue Ivy went through, and then Blue Ivy decides that she's going to continue despite the naysayers. That she got a hold of some negative feedback from social media, and she was determined from that point on, I'm going to do better. I'm going to prove to you, even at his 11 years old, that just speaks volumes to me.
For sure.
That this child said, you know what? I'm going to come out here and I'm going to do better. But what it did was it showed me the influence of her mother. Beyonce talked about how, as a Black woman, she has had to be tenacious. She's had to fight for certain things, fight for her voice to be heard. She showed us in the film where there was a situation where somebody was telling her something that wasn't true, and she found out that it actually was, and she had to gently correct. And I thought, this is profound. Like, I appreciate her so much because she walked us through her journey. She's a notoriously private person, and she took us through the making of this presentation, and she disclosed, she showed us Rumi and Sir. She showed us, the relationship a little bit with her husband. She showed us the healing, portions of healing between her and Destiny's Child. I just thought it was beautifully, 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 beautifully done. And it's because, again, for me, since Lemonade, Beyonce has taken us on a journey of healing. And there's controversy and there's things that people say about her. But one thing I understand is that that art is not a universal language. That's number one. Art is not a universal language. It is particular to the person who is conveying whatever their artistic journey and whatever their process is. And I think some people get hung up on Beyonce's presentation because of their ability or even lack of ability to let in. And she's very vulnerable. She's very emotional. She talked about even being in her 40s, how it's very liberating. I've heard that my whole life, and I'm still waiting at the age that I'm at in the middle 40s to experience that freedom. But I appreciate her because she has aided, her music and her approach has aided me so much in my own personal journey of healing. So I was pleasantly surprised at my reaction to what I was seeing and what I was viewing. She is a maximalist in that she puts a lot of different elements and a lot of different things in the show to move you to a place. And then she told us at the end the reason why. She told us throughout, but then she also told us at the end the reason why. If you follow the movie, you can pick up on the story. So for me, it was all about her artistic expression. It took me back to my senior year in high school when I spent a lot of time at the Kansas City's next Nelson Atkins Museum. I had a humanities class, and my teacher, God rest his soul, Mr. Parsons, he had us spend a lot of time in that museum to find art that spoke to us. And so I felt like I was walking through a museum in Renaissance. I felt like I was taking in the collections and the artifacts. And I felt like I was immersed into an artistic world of expression. And while she brought up Black Ballroom, and she brought up dance, and she brought up her Uncle Johnny and how he made dresses, how the high-end designers would not dress those girls. And they had to find alternative means. And so they made lemons out of lemonade even with that. And they were able to have that. So much of my experience kind of parallels Beyonce in some ways, because I have a grandmother who passed last year who was a seamstress, and she made clothing, and she made furniture, and she made drapery. And so my introduction to those things came through her. And then I was not expecting to be as emotional, but over the last 3 weeks our family has been hit with death and transition yet again. And so it was just a moving experience for me. And I hope that people who are sensitive to artistry are able to capture what Beyonce was conveying, because it was very, very powerful. And it was not to be discounted in any way, which is why, as much as I appreciated what we got from Taylor, there's no comparison here.
Okay, so now we're going to give a brief history behind the film. So it's currently getting a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That.
And the audience score is also 100%.
Yeah, which I don't think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've never seen that. Again, I always question how they rate these films because they're concert films, but for me, I thought that was a good rating. I think the people that love Beyonce are definitely going to love this film.
It's extraordinary art.
Yes.
Extraordinary.
And then also Taylor Swift, who, we reviewed the Taylor Swift Eras Tour, and Beyonce was at Taylor's premiere. So Taylor followed up and held to her promise and showed up.
Met her up in Paris before she came back here.
Yes. So she was there at the premiere, and then also, like my sister mentioned, all the original members of Destiny Child showed up at the premiere as well. And even Beyonce talked about that in the film, where it took a lot of healing because there was some open drama that they had for years. And they finally came together and, forgave each other and healed from that.
All the things.
So I thought that was a great, point to add into the movie because, their drama was highly publicized. So, all right. So we'll go around the room, give our final thoughts and our rating. Again, I'll be brief. I thought this was a solid movie. I said it at the beginning of the review. Everything didn't work for me, but overall, I thought it was a good concert film. I appreciated the story points again, and Blue Ivy for me was the best part of the movie because I got to see her growth. I got to see, like my sister said, she's 11 years old, and to have that determination and drive, it's well documented that kids of privilege, which we know that her parents are super mega stars, so she has a lot of privilege, usually don't end up with that kind of drive because they're handed everything.
Yeah.
So it was good to see that she had that kind of determination and drive. And I even liked when they cut to Jay-Z how proud he was that she got up there and
that
did
he said, I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. I know when you're nervous. I know you so much that I know how you're feeling. And then I thought that was amazing too because Beyonce said she almost passed out when she saw her daughter behind her.
Yeah.
Like their energies were intertwined. Just beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. So for that reason, I'll give it a 3. Go ahead, Mika.
Well, for me, again, I'm a music buff for sure. The creativity, the performance, the production, the behind the scenes, the pushing forward of showing the display of family and, the music artistry and just all the hard work that was put into it, the behind the scenes, the crew, everything to me, I thought it was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And I think for the message that I think was really just being displayed of being at a place of freedom. We talk about during this whole film of, this being a whole story and this being a journey of healing, her finally getting to that point of, she's 42 years old. At this point in her stage, she's to the point where I'm going to be myself and own it. And I don't really care what nobody thinks about me. And that's unapologetically. And that's how really we all should be. We all should really be operating because at the end of the day, everybody ain't going to like what you have to say.
Yeah.
Everybody's not going to like what you have going on, but you have to know who you are. You have to be rooted and grounded in who you are and be yourself and own it and not worry about what the world thinks about you, because the thing about that I think I have learned is the world will build you up and they will spew you out their mouth in a hot second. So anyway, all of that, the confidence, the love, everything, for me, I give it a 4.5.
Okay, Shauna.
I give it a 5. Beautiful artistry in progress. I think she has shown us her ability to turn things around, to heal, to make things better. To me, Renaissance was a continuation of healing for her. And healing is ongoing. When you begin the journey of healing, it shouldn't end. I think it should continue unless, something happens to where it just, everything that was holding you back or holding you down, fades and you come into a new, what she said at the end, she said she was transitioning into a new animal. I love seeing Diana Ross. That was another part that had me in tears. Beyonce always pays homage to those who've come before us. So she had Diana Ross. She sang a Tina Turner song, a Frankie Beverly song, Camp Lo, Nina Sky. All of these people, Michael Jackson, Madonna, she sampled and used their music because she always throws back to the past in order to move us forward.
Right.
Thank you, Beyonce. Thank you for letting us in. Thank you for bringing us healing. I echo your gratitude. Thank you. Brava 5.
Okay. So if that's it, thanks again for listening. Thanks again for watching. Again, we appreciate it. We're going to say it every time. Thankful to do this. We appreciate everybody for listening.
Every one of you.
Everybody
Thank
for
you so
watching.
What's up, Swifties? What's up, Beehive? We appreciate y'all.
And we also want to encourage you to like this video and subscribe to our channel and even on our Facebook page. And again, we want to say thank you. And with that being said,
See you soon.